Who's killing your friend?
My chimpanzee!
In 2015, news of a chimp ripping a woman's face and hands off in Connecticut shocked everyone.
I lost all the nerves there.
I was grateful that it didn't happen to me.
Jason Coates was not surprised to see the headlines. 14 years earlier, Jason came face to face with that chimp's parents outside of his home in Festus. Back then, chimpanzees were being bred and sold right next door by a business called Chimp Party. They rented chimps out for parties, TV ads, and movies.
It was a 180-pound grown male chimpanzee, just walking across the driveway. So we go to get out of the car and go to the house when two more chimps come from behind that mobile home. There's 3 of them running at us.
That day, 3 chimps had escaped from Chimp Party. Jason says they were aggressive.
It was like a horror movie. It jumped up on the hood, slapped it a couple times, jumped off. It was, on its knuckles, like running at us. So then I'm thinking, they're going to kill my dog. And I shot 3 times.
That chimp died. Connie Casey, the owner of Chimp Party, later admitted the chimps escaped through an unlocked door. Jason was charged with a felony and ended up serving 30 days in jail.
I pulled in my driveway and was attacked by 3 of them, and I had to shoot it. That wasn't a decision I made for myself. That was a position that I was forced into.
Chimp Party has since turned into the Missouri Primate Foundation, a nonprofit housing as many as 16 chimps and other primates. The I-Team found at least twice this summer, chimps have gotten out and wandered around the neighborhood. We spoke with 2 neighbors who live right next to the sanctuary. They say they have nothing against it, but they do wish the chimps were locked up more securely. One neighbor, who did not want to go on camera, tells us on June 30th, she came home to find a chimp in her living room.
This is not safe. How is this even possible?
The foundation is also the target of a lawsuit filed by People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. It claims the chimps are held in unsanitary conditions and not given proper food or medical care. In a statement, PETA tells us it wants the chimps moved to an accredited sanctuary to protect them and the community. The I-Team reached out to Casey for the foundation's comment. A worker tells us they're adding extra safety measures to keep the chimps from getting out. For Jason, that's not enough.
They're smart, they're strong, and they're dangerous.
He knows something must be done.
And don't have these things for pets to begin with, for crying out loud. It should not be in a residential area. It should be in a proper sanctuary, and that's it.
For the I-Team, PJ Randhawa, 5 on your side. Behind this building, amid the trash, dirty needles, and discarded furniture,
You never know what you're going to see.
urban explorer Gary Fiorino came across something that didn't fit.
Found names, social security numbers, addresses, lab reports, entire medical history of people and personal information.
He contacted the I-Team to investigate, and even we were surprised by what we saw. There are at least 6 big boxes that we found here with medical files like this, containing someone's entire medical history, all just dumped on the side of the road.
Every kind of medical and legal form you could imagine.
Business receipts in the boxes helped us link them to this DaVita dialysis location in Florissant. DaVita Dialysis is an international company with 2,700 centers in the U.S. alone. They serve more than 200,000 patients across the country. Christine Scott received dialysis there for nearly 14 years.
So there's a lot of personal information that's in those files that I feel like I am totally been violated, that I'm just open up to whoever.
Scott is one of 58 patients whose personal health history was dumped for anyone to see.
This is our lives. We put our lives in their hands.
They could have easily ended up in the wrong hands. And let me tell you something, identity theft is nothing to play with.
I've been a surveyor almost 20 years, and this is a rare occurrence.
We reported what we found to federal health officials and Missouri's Department of Health and Senior Services. State investigator Donya Lowry was assigned to the case. How concerning is it that these were dumped on the side of the street?
Very concerning. because, I mean, let's face it, everywhere you go in a medical facility now, you have to sign a consent that, for HIPAA.
The Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act is a federal law requiring healthcare providers to keep your medical information confidential and secure. Violate HIPAA and the penalties could be steep. Fines range from $100 to $50,000 per violation. DaVita is legally responsible for the records, but it's still unclear how they ended up on the road.
It could be a disgruntled employee. It could be that they were on their way to storage and somehow got dumped on their way to storage.
The I-Team found the state can do very little when records are not protected.
We do not have monetary penalties related to their deficiencies. They're given a chance to present what's called a plan of correction.
There were people violated, and DaVita needs to answer to that.
We turn the files back over to DaVita, hoping they'd tell us how this happened. After refusing multiple requests for interviews, DaVita provided this statement, acknowledging that a small number of files appear to have been lost or stolen. It also says the company is investigating. It's not enough for patients like Scott, who are left wondering who's been privy to the most private details of their lives.
Somebody knows that those records didn't get where they're supposed to go.
Absolutely.
Somebody knows. And to me, DaVita is that somebody. And I think they need to be held accountable for that.
How those files ended up dumped on the road is still a mystery. After our questions, DaVita said it reached out to all the patients involved. At the Florissant location, they've also increased employee training and restricted access to their physical files. That appears to be enough for the state. They've closed their investigation and decided against any action. Now, the federal investigation is still ongoing. For the I-Team, PJ Randawa, 5 on your side.
What kind of music do you like?
Contrary to what it looks like, this isn't the happy glow of a woman falling in love.
I am awesome now that I'm talking to you. Are you lonely too?
Yeah, I'm just yellow.
From her South St. Louis County home.
You don't sound like the guy in the picture.
No.
Patsy Roach is hunting for romance scammers.
I think you are from Nigeria.
Not stop saying that.
She keeps track of them.
It's the liar's wall of disdain. This is pictures of all the guys I've had contact with the last 4 years. This is my very first one.
So she can warn others not to fall for their lies.
Some of these pictures have been used on me over and over and over, but it's not probably the same person using it.
Patsy started doing this after she was scammed by someone posing as a member of the military on Match.com.
You're not the guy in the picture.
She didn't fall for it, and she doesn't want you to either.
Most, will say are in the military. Others will be, I'm on an oil rig, or I'm a doctor working for the military. Some of them will say, yeah, I'm from Nigeria. Yeah, I'm a scammer. I have one guy, we're just poor.
It's fun when it's not real, but for too many Americans, romance scams have a high cost.
These victims are vulnerable.
Tracy Berry is the Elder Justice Coordinator with the Eastern District of Missouri.
These victims want to be in love with that individual. They want to believe what's being said, and so they're not questioning it.
In 2019 alone, the Federal Trade Commission received 25,000 reports about romance scams. In total, scammers managed to steal more than $200 million in the United States. That number is 6 times higher than it was just 5 years ago.
What are you gonna get for our daughter?
You want me to get her a gift? Well, what is she like? A gift card? That's always nice.
Those most at risk for falling for this scam are people aged 40 to 69. People 70 and over reported being scammed out of the most amount of money, an average of $10,000.
And so what we're seeing is individuals who are being repeatedly victimized by several different crews.
Barry says advances in technology are making a scammer's job even easier.
These individuals are using artificial intelligence in order to manipulate videos and give the victim the impression that they're actually talking to a real person.
A big one I get is Keanu Reeves. I had a Billy Idol. I have had several Prince Andrews from England.
Patsy hopes her blog, Online Dating with Patsy, makes it easier for families to talk about these scams with their older loved ones, helping them separate love from lies.
I want people to hear what they sound like, because trust me, they're not the guys in the picture.
You're looking for a relationship.
Aren't we all?
I visited Patsy's website, and there are dozens of videos of her conversations with these scammers. It's also really amazing. It doesn't take long for them to start asking her for money. Now, the FTC warns never send money or gift cards to anyone you don't personally know. For the I-Team, PJ Randhawa, 5 on your side. Welcome to the St. Louis City tow lot, where some people say once a vehicle passes through these gates, you may never see it again.
You'll just lose vehicles.
James Mundy, a former commissioner at the city's tow lot, is just one of several employees who've reported suspicious activity to the city and to the I-Team.
Well, I believe the citizens of St. Louis are definitely being scammed.
According to Missouri policy, here's how the lot is supposed to operate. Once a vehicle is towed by the city, the owner has 30 days to get their car back by paying the required fees. If a car goes unclaimed, it can either go to public auction, be sold for parts, or get crushed. Regardless of what happens to it, the city is supposed to make money off every vehicle stored on the lot. Current and former employees we talked to say that's not happening.
They know how to go in there and change the numbers and the name.
This current tow lot employee asked us not to reveal her identity. She's worried about losing her job. She worked with the I-Team to dissect hundreds of pages of tow lot records obtained through a Sunshine Law request. We found over an 11-month period in 2019, 155 cars on the lot were marked as redeemed, but with no money paid.
This is the total amount that the city was going to charge had the individual picked it up. You see down here, nothing was paid. It was redeemed, but it doesn't have the person it was redeemed to.
If our whistleblower is right, that's nearly $78,000 worth of tow and storage fees that the city missed out on. Car theft victims are the only people who can get their car back without a fee as long as it's done within a few days. Other than that...
Even a total vehicle, there are parts that are valuable. Yeah, no vehicle's going out there for free.
200. 225.
Another set of records involves vehicles sold at auction. The records we looked at, there's no buyer listed.
You got to have a valid driver's license and ID to get these vehicles. Nothing's on there to show who it was sold to. They put a frivolous name on there. Some of the addresses have 9999 unknown.
If any of these allegations sound familiar, it's because various clouds of scandal have passed over the city's tow lot for years. Most recently, in 2019, the I-Team uncovered this police report showing some cars were leaving the lot without the city seeing a dime.
It's a lot of people involved, and how many and how high up, I don't know.
State Senator Carla May says she's heard about mismanagement at the tow lot from several employees and a relative who once worked there. She urged the St. Louis mayor's office to investigate in 2019.
Cars were disappearing, set aside, held over, no money collected for the cars.
We brought all of these allegations to the man in charge, Commissioner of Streets, Kent Flake. Why are cars leaving the tow lot for free?
Cars should not be leaving city tow for free. All of 2020, we've been audited by both city and state. And to the best of my knowledge, in all of these, they've never found that.
The I-Team is still waiting to see those audit reports. After the 2019 police investigation, Commissioner Flake says City Tow made several changes.
We went to a third-party auctioneer in fall of 19. Prior to that, the auction was ran by tow lot employees. We installed 3 more cameras. We built in several layers of, not necessarily management, but overseeing of positions.
Despite those upgrades, City Tow still does not have a manual of standard operating procedures.
We do have about 40 signs up on a wall with our work rules on them. We've been trying to get an actual work rule manual actually put together so there would be no question about it.
That police report we told you about from 2019, well, it turns out that case is still open. Police couldn't give us any more details. If you've had a questionable experience with the city tow lot, we want to hear from you. Email me directly at prandhawa@ksdk.com. For the I-Team, PJ Randhawa, 5 on your side. Former Kirkwood High School student Katie Papa George has written many things about her old drama teacher, Christopher Stevens. When she was just 14, she wrote in her diary about their relationship. In 2020, decades later, Papa George says she finally had the courage to write about surviving Stephen's sexual abuse.
When I was still a child, he said, you know, bring me anything you want to write. You're so talented. I want to support you. It hurts. It hurts to know that he was sexually abusing me all that time.
Court documents say the abuse happened on Kirkwood School property, in Stephen's office, even in the drama prop room. Papa George isn't the only student to accuse Stevens. The I-Team has spoken with 2 other women who say Stevens also abused them at Kirkwood High School.
He literally put his hands up my shirt. I didn't ask for that. We were in the green room and he got to me and he kissed me.
This summer, the I-Team uncovered documents showing Stevens was allowed to resign in 1998 after 2 different students reported abuse to the high school's principal. The district agreed not to involve police or investigate the allegations. Former Principal Frank McCauley recently shared a lengthy statement on Facebook about the allegations, saying in part, quote, "I regret I did not do more," and admitting, quote, the teacher's license to teach in Missouri schools K through 12 was taken away, but he was not taken to trial.
I don't believe that he was a bad apple. I believe it was part of a system that did not validate sexual abuse victims.
Stevens went on to teach Italian at the St. Louis Community College. After learning that, in 2018, Papa George filed a police report and contacted the community college. Shortly after, Stevens resigned again.
I was concerned about his work at the community college because of him taking students on these study abroad trips. Just knowing his pattern of grooming, knowing his pattern of abuse, it fits very squarely within that.
Stevens is active in St. Louis's Italian community, even judging a local Miss Italy pageant. Last year, he was honored by the St. Louis Board of Aldermen, praising his decades of teaching.
Now that this has become publicly available information, I hope people start to reconsider how they've handled this, you know, how they've chosen to step up for him rather than victims.
It's unclear if Stevens faces more charges. Papa George hopes her case sends a message to other survivors.
I know that there are other things that he's done, you know, that are as bad as what he's done to me. I hope that any victims are able to get the strength to come forward. I hope this helps them to know that they'll be believed.
Stevens is expected to be arraigned on Friday. We did reach his attorney by phone today. He tells us that Stevens denies the charges and is looking forward to fighting them in court. For the I-Team, PJ Randawa, 5 on your side.